and Mrs. Driscoll have been working all summer long to make sure that we are providing an environment that is socially, emotionally, and physically safe for all our pre-K classes in our school. We need to monitor the health just like usual. We would follow the same procedures. Mrs. Hopkins, I'll get back to your question real quickly. And one of the questions is, well, when they're doing the stations, how will that work? We'll have materials that move in and out of the groups so that the students aren't moving through the stations, and there will be enough supplies so that we are not sharing the materials. Are the teachers going to do outside teaching? There might be activities that a teacher can do outside. One example would be, like, I know kindergarten does Johnny Appleseed, and they usually do a lot of activities with Johnny Appleseed. And if they want to take that activity and do all that activity outside, weather permitting, they could. In that event, I have talked to Mrs. Perry briefly about that would be one of those times where we would send an email to the parents for the virtual learners and say, we're doing this activity, if you would like to bring them in. But with that, we would have to have the parents stay, just in case the weather would all of a sudden go bad, things like that. We're still looking at how of teaching regular subjects outdoors with weather cooperating will look. We are looking at that. We are exploring options for that. But there are so many moving parts right now that many teachers are looking at how they can make that outdoor possibility and still keep for the students that are still doing virtual. That's where the tricky part comes in, because students who may not want to come, who can't come, maybe they're with grandma at home, they can't come to that in-person outdoor class. We would have to figure out how that would work so that they're also not missing out. So we're working on details such as that to see how we can make that work. Can parents bring their kids in to participate in recess or outdoor activities? That was a question that Mrs. O'Brien and I were talking about, and I was thinking, yes, they can bring them for recess. That would actually give us volunteers for recess duty, because we would ask the parents to stay with us. So that would actually help in that sense, where we would have the volunteers for recess duty. For recess duty, our specials teachers will be outside. They will be, and the teachers would be in during the lunch period. So there are different, those are different things. The outdoor is what we are still working on, and how we can maybe make something like that work. We are, I just lost my train of thought again. But we are working on that, because we do know that being outside is important and having that. You know what? The Sign Up Genius is a good idea for doing that. Yes, and with the different zones, it is definitely going to be a different challenge this year with keeping the kids in their zones, because they are so used to being able to be with their friend in this class or their friend in that class. So there will definitely be, I like that idea of doing a Sign Up Genius. And if there are parents that are willing to help with that, we are open to having the volunteers. We do still need to have all of our clearances to volunteer, but any parent willing to volunteer that has their clearances, and if you don't have your clearances, we will walk you through how to get them. With the CARES, I just want to touch on CARES real quickly, and then if there's any other questions, I think this might be my last slide. I have no idea anymore. So CARES, we are doing the social and safe distancing practices. Masks will be worn, obviously with mask breaks. We are eliminating the outside visitors. So parents, we will have a way for parents to call in. Some of the CARES things we are working on has the in-person clearances class gone? Yes, the in-person clearance class, the Protecting God's Children class, there is a virtual option for that. So I'm going to write that down and to send that out to families, because they have made that 3-hour course virtual currently, which will actually make that probably easier for people to get that clearance. So I will write that down to send out information about that clearance. So the employees will have the same health checklist practices that they follow during the school day, same operational throughout the building. The CARES room will be sanitized prior to the kids entering the space. Our plan currently is to use the lower church, like we traditionally do, but we are going to be quadrating off with markers that will be semi-permanent for the school year. So tape and other guiding factors that we can use, signage that we can use to quadrant off so that we can stay in cohorts. And they, so that they can stay as close to their cohorts as possible. But it will be sanitized before the kids enter. So at the end of the day, the students who are staying for CARES from the kindergarten pre-K will be taken outside and put into zones so that that space can be sanitized before all the other students come in. Materials for CARES used by CARES students will be cleaned regularly, sanitized daily, monitoring of hands. CARES employees will follow the wellness or the playbook that we have for any suspected illness. So if somebody's not feeling well at CARES, they will call. We will isolate or and try and keep that student away from the other students. And we will comply with any emergency action. In the event that that would happen during CARES, I would immediately still call the health department and follow their steps. Are the teachers tested for COVID as a precaution? No. The Archdiocese is not putting that into place. I am asking the teachers, along with the, when we send out the message the other day, I do believe we asked that, I am not sure where it is, that we be mindful of what we are doing so that so that we are over the holiday weekend, so that we are less likely to bring it in. As a precaution, temperature checks. The teachers, just like the families, are going to do their own daily health check. It has become part of our regular day at home. We check our temperatures every day, and so the teachers will have the same protocol as the families do, as in they will self-monitor and do their own daily health checks. Let me make sure this is my last slide. I think I was hitting the